Hello, Mr. Omar. These are my viewers and also your students, Mohammed, Taha, Ismail, Özlem. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Harun, my last name is Koç. The topic of my speech today will be about are humans destroying the world? Humans are slowly destroying their one and only home, the Earth. This is happening because of many factors. These factors are um, industrialization, human-caused climate change, and warfare. Industrialization's impact on the world is it's destroying the environment by polluting life's main sources like air, soil, water. Climate change can happen due to two reasons. One of them is climate drivers, natural causes, and the other one is us humans. But I will be talking about both of them. Warfare is also a big potential that can bring the end of the world. This is because it brings destruction to wherever it goes. However, let's start by talking about industrialization's effects on the environment. Industrialization first started with the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th century, with the Industrial Revolution. Industrialization brought new machinery, which meant factories, coal-fired power plants, and steel mills, dry cleaners. All these industrial buildings produced a large amount of air pollution. Air pollution is the biggest harm that industrialization brought with it. The amount of pollution created from these buildings are the cause of many problems like climate change, acid rains, smog effects, extinction of animals, and many more. These problems are a serious threat to humanity and the world. The most simple solutions to these problems are to move away from fossil fuels and replacing them with alternative energy sources like solar, wind, geothermal, producing clean energy. However, reducing the amount of energy consumption and using more efficient devices are equally important. The other threat to the environment is soil contamination. Soil contamination is toxic minerals mixing with the soil and degrading its quality, finally contaminating it. Factories throw away their wastes and heavy metal scraps to the fields and leave them there without no care. They do not deal with them. This leads to soil contamination and erosion. The contaminated soil is unavailable for agriculture because the crops grown on that land are harmful and inedible. The solution for this again is industries have to recycle their wastes. Human-caused climate change. Hundreds of scientists have came to conclusions of humans being the source of why climate change is happening. They say that climate change is happening because of fossil fuels consumptions that have been happening for the past 100 years. These fossil fuels are creating greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases are one of the causes for global warming. Global warming causes extreme warm weather, which leads to the ice caps melting. When the ice caps melt, the sea level rises. This leads to tsunamis and other natural causes. Human-caused climate change is starting to become a real threat to humanity and the world. The solution for climate change is we have to make major changes in the way we live. These changes include less energy consumption and water consumption, proper education of recycling, factory waste limitations, and controlled industrialization. Warfare has been happening for centuries and brought destruction to many countries and landscapes. However, in the past century, the devastation has been getting more fierce. The development of technology has made wars more deadly due to chemical weapons. These chemical weapons not only have bigger destructive power but also have after effects. In the past century, the most deadly chemical weapon created was the nuclear bomb. The nuclear bomb was used by the US Army against Japan. The nuclear bomb was used against Japan in the Second World War. The effect of the bomb left nuclear waste that affected the land and people for several years. The land was not only available for agriculture, but the land was not available for agriculture due to mutation that occurred in the soil. During warfare, both sides think of ways and tactics to destroy each other. These tactics have been the reason of devastation of many lives and landscapes. An example of an event like this went place in 1943. The Royal Air Force bombed a German dam. The result of this bombing was a flood that ended up flooding more than 7,000 acres of farmland. In updated 125 factories and sent water rushing through several coal mines. The US forces used a similar tactic in the Korean War. In 1977, the Geneva Conventions were amended to ban the international breaches of dams in wartime, but only if the attack would cause severe losses among the civilian population. The effects of these attacks left landscapes unusable. To sum up this speech, I would like to point out the negative effects of humans on the planet. How the greed of humanity brings destruction in many ways to the world. I would like to end my speech by saying if we humans take care of nature, we can prevent the abnormal situations happening around the world. This will be the end of my speech. Goodbye. Bence bir tane daha.